Hello, and welcome to the tutorial on FX market conventions. First, let's start with what an FX quote means. An FX quote is the price of one currency, called the base currency, in terms of the other, called the quote currency. Now, each currency in a so-called currency pair is represented by a three-letter ISO code. For example, USD for US dollar, EUR for euro. These ISO codes are specified by the International Organization for Standardization, and the first two letters represent the country, and the third letter is added to represent the currency. As you can see with the examples, US would be the country, D would be for dollar. In some cases where the currency changes, the third letter may change. So for example, MXN is Mexico Nuevo Peso. Prior to that, it was the Mexican peso, so the code would have been MXP. So what is the meaning of base and quote? Well, the convention for quoting FX rates, for example, if we see a quote euro/USD, that means the first in that pair, euro, is the base currency, and the second is the quote currency. And so what it means is the number of dollars required to buy 1 euro. So the quote represents the price of the base currency, the number of dollars for euros in this case. Now, there are international conventions for which currency is typically the base. And typically that would be dollar, euro, and British pound. And so, for example, if we were looking at Mexican peso, that would be typically quoted dollars slash USD slash MXN, or for South African Rand, it would be typically quoted as EUR slash ZAR. Now, when you're looking at quotes among the three, they're also standard. So typically we would see euro slash USD, euro slash British pound, GBP for British pound, and then when we're looking at pound to the dollar, we would look at GBP slash USD. Now, domestically, it's common to express the foreign currency as base and the domestic currency as quote, so the international conventions could well be reversed. Now, this quoting convention is often the sort of confusion. When you see euro slash USD, it may look like it means euro per dollar, but it actually means the opposite. It means dollars per euro. So to denote the FX rate between euro, the base currency, and US dollar, the quote currency, we would express it as euro slash USD, less ambiguous or confusing. Sometimes it's expressed as EUR dash USD or just EUR USD with no notation in between. So when we talk about buying euro slash USD, it means we're buying the base currency, we're buying euro, and we're paying for it with the quote currency. So we're buying the first, the base, and we're paying in units of the second and paying for it with units of the second. So for example, if euro slash USD FX, if the euro slash USD FX rate is 1.20, what does that mean? It means to purchase 1 euro, that's the base currency, euro, it costs 1.20 USD, the quote currency. So the price is $1.2 per euro. Now, when we reverse the base in the quote, for example, what we might do if we were looking at this domestically, it's just the inverse. So the rate for dollar slash euro would be the inverse of the rate for euro slash dollar. So for example, if euro slash USD is quoted as 1.2, where euro is the base currency and we're paying in dollars, and we wanted to know what it would be with dollars as the base currency paying in euros, that would be 1 divided by 1.2 or 0.8333. So that means we're paying 0.833 euros for $1 in this case. Now pips, when we talk about price moves, often you'll see reference to pips. And what is a pip? Usually a pip refers to the fourth decimal place. So for example, if we were looking at the change in the euro USD quote, and it dropped from 1.2005 to 1.2003, we'd say it dropped by 2 pips. Now there's an important exception. Dollar yen is quoted to 2 decimal places typically, and so here 0.01 yen would be a pip. So if the US yen quote dropped from 112.88 to 112.85, we'd say it dropped by 3 pips. And pips are also used to quote an FX forward rate in terms of its discount or premium to the spot rate. Now let's talk about cross quotes. What if there are 3 currencies that we're looking at: dollars, euros, and Swiss franc? And let's say the euro dollar rate is 1.1880 and the euro Swiss franc rate is 1.1440. Then the dollar Swiss franc must be 0.9630 to avoid arbitrage. Or more generally, if we have n currencies, there can only be n-1 independent quotes. Why is this? Well, consider this example. If a euro costs 1.1880 US dollars and a euro also costs 1.1440 Swiss franc, 1 euro in dollars and 1 euro in Swiss francs costs the same amount. In other words, that amount of dollars and that amount of Swiss francs must have the same value. So that means $1.1880 is equivalent to 1.1440 Swiss francs, since both can buy 1 euro. And so if we divide through by the first one, 1.1880, we can derive the number of Swiss francs that would be equivalent to $1, in this case 0.9630. So if we have the cross quote table like below, and we show the base currency versus the quote currency, and of course in the diagonal there will be nothing because that's dollars to dollars, pounds to pounds, and yen to yen. But we have 6 quotes in here, but actually 2 perfectly define the table. So consider this, how it works. So $1 is worth 110.25 yen, and 1 pound is worth $1.295. And so that means that pound is also worth 142.77 yen, because we can multiply the dollar rate by the dollar rate in yen by the dollar rate in pounds. And so if we are looking at the exchange rate for pound yen, we would do this calculation and we would get 14277 implied by the other 2 rates. And then the other 3 are actually just the inverse of the rates that are quoted. So yen pound, yen dollar, and dollar pound, these are sort of the inverse of the normal international conventions, and their prices would just be the inverse of those quoted prices. And there is given here. And so we could fill out the remainder of the table using those rates. So let's summarize. Every currency is represented by a unique 3-character ISO code, for example, USD, EUR, etc. An FX currency quote, for example, euro dollar equals 1.20, expresses how much a single unit of the base currency, 1 euro, costs in terms of the quote currency, 1.2 US dollars. Now remember, euro/USD means dollars per euro, not euros per dollar. And while there are standard conventions for which currency is typically base and which is quote, the quotes may be inverted. So we may see dollar/euro instead of euro/US dollar. A pip, usually 0.0001 or the 4th decimal place, but not always, is a common way of expressing the quote changes. So we'd see 1.2003 to 1.2008. That change would be expressed as plus 5 pips. And cross quotes, for example, if we were interested in Mexican peso versus Brazilian real, all are implied by the quotes with a common 3rd currency. So we could look at how each is quoted relative to the dollar. So that's it on this tutorial on FX market conventions. Thank you for listening.